Hello folks, welcome to my YouTube channel, Watercolor Impressions. In this week, we are going to learn how to paint with confidence. I'll provide the reference. Before you go, hit the subscribe button so you guys can get weekly video updates from our channel. And let's get started, guys. As always, I'll provide the drawing template and reference. Check my video description to download it so you guys can follow with me in this tutorial. Being said that, the first step in watercolors is drawing. Drawings is a quite essential part. In oil painting or any other thick medium, they do underpainting. So for watercolors, we don't need underpainting. We just need a drawing, so we can act as a map where our values stick together, where we can create shapes and paint and put things in perspective. When it comes to drawing, there is one tip I can give you. Focus on bigger shapes first and focus on smaller shapes and even smaller shapes. When it comes to bigger shape, the first shape would be the sky, next the tall building which is on the left hand side. Then arrange it in a such a way that it works. And being said that, you don't have to be accurate to your reference. So I finished my drawing. I'm just going to throw down my first wash. And the first wash is to kill down the white paper, and I want to see wherever my sky goes. But at the bottom, if you go outside and if you go in the evening or if you go in the morning, you can see there's a little bit of value change in distance, and it also creates such a mood as well. And I'm also leaving some white bits in such a way that I know where the highlight goes. And I'm also warming up the darkening up the wash by increasing my pigment consistency. And I let the wash sit for a bit because I want my dry paper as well. So this is where painting confidence comes in. You can see, even though in a reference it's in the evening scene and everything looks different, but I'm painting in a such way that every stroke is really fast and confident. So whenever you paint, even though your painting doesn't look, your strokes will show that you're painting in confidence. And think as this is a second light wash. So the second light wash is the second lightest value in your reference. So what I mean by that is the lights inside the streetcar. So I put like a warmer tone inside it. And as I said, even though in reference it's a little bit lighter, I'm darkening up my wash in a such way that it kind of creates the depth from foreground to the background. And it also helps us to frame the streetcar on the front as well. And I'm also making sure that my vision of this painting is having really moody clouds, and there's going to be a little bit of light peeking through in the center of the scene. So I'm also warming up the wash which is on the left hand building. You can see it looks really severe and darker, but since there's a little bit of wetness in the paper, it's going to dry out quite a bit and the value goes down. And you can see I'm also merging all the buildings together in such a way that it kind of looks like one shape. You can also paint this by each separate shapes, and it's up to artist preference to do it. But it's easier to combining as a one shape than doing it separately. So since there is a little bit of wetness in the paper, I'm just going to use a little bit of a darker tone in my pigment. I'm just going to reduce it. And there is also a little bit of trees, and I'm just going to add that. And even though it looks severe, and it's going to get lighter as it goes down. And you can see all the strokes I'm doing it is a quick confident stroke. I'm not thinking about anything, just painting and just enjoying the process of it. And whenever you see some values doesn't work, you can go and glaze over it. So the glazing over is another technique. You can do it in watercolor as soon as the wash is wet. You can see when I glazed over, the wash looked really the value looked darker, but as watercolor does what it does, it got lighter. So now I'm focusing on the streetcar, and I put a little bit of value in there. You can see in a short amount of time we blocked in the foreground and the background building, the background and the midground building really fast. To summarize, in order to paint confident, think everything as shapes and combine everything as one shape if you can, and paint with quick confident strokes. You can make a mistake, you can leave it as it is, because the energy that gives you can't replace with thousands of strokes. The other thing is not marrying to your reference. You don't have to be 100% accurate to your reference. If you see my reference, if you see my painting, it looked totally different, but at the end it's gonna look good. And I had that faith and I kept going. Even though every painting I do, I have this feeling of the painting is not gonna work, the painting doesn't look good. But until I finish the final product, that's well I'm happy about it. So now it's I'm going to add some reflections. It's a really easy medium to do reflection. Watercolor is the best medium to add reflections. So I pre-wet the paper and I'm just putting some colors on the road. So especially in Canada, the roads are in a warmer tone like raw amber. So I'm putting some raw amber and letting it bleed in the water. And I'm also using my brush to give some assistance so that it comes all the way to the down. And before it dries out, I'm going to add another value. And that will also helps to anchor the streetcar as well as the person who is on the motorbike to anchor on the ground. So now it's matter of fact adding eyelets. So adding eyelets, again, you don't have to be close to your reference. You can make up your reference. You can make up your eyelets as much as you want. It doesn't matter. And that also shows confidence because you are changing it, and it also shows originality in your painting. And you're not painting what I see, what you see, and you're changing it whatever your expression of creating a painting. And there's a caution when you're adding those eyelets. It's kind of like eating a chocolate. If you can eat a chocolate a little bit, it's fine, but if you add more, it will make you sick. So make sure to keep that in mind. Add some eyelets. The other way which helped me to add eyelets is in a way that squint your eyes and see your reference. It will give you shapes, and it also gives you necessary eyelets. You can put it in your reference. You can see the eyelet put on the back of the streetcar. As soon as I put that eyelet, you can see there is a foam rollover happening on the streetcar. So those are the eyelets which are really important, and those are the eyelets which are in the background are nearly it's okay. And the street lights are also another important highlight because it also shows a little bit of perspective in your painting as well. And you can see I also added a turquoisey highlight in the foreground just to show that there is a little bit of light happening in the foreground. And there I'm also adding a little bit of green light on the right hand side because I want to have a little bit of color variation in my eyelets as well. That also helps to kill monotonous in your painting as well. And I'm also adding some eyelets in the building, inside the building as well, and that also shows a little bit of character in the buildings as well. As I said in the beginning of the tutorial, I want to make sure that my vision is to make this painting really moody. So I'm going to pre-wet the paper in the background, and if you use any cheap watercolor paper, this will kill your the paintings at the background. So make sure to use artist grade or professional grade watercolor paper. I'm using Saunders Waterford cold press. So whatever I left over in the palette, I'm just going to do some strokes in the distance, and this also shows confidence as well. You can see I'm not giving any more care for this. I'm just keep on painting, and it also shows a little bit of confidence in the clouds as well. So this bit which I add at the end, and these are like the street wires, street poles, and whatever you name it. This also this directional lines. It helps to create a little bit of perspective in your painting. You can see as soon as we put that line, it takes us into the painting exactly in the center. So that's what I want to do. So I'm creating those lines. There are a lot of different ways to painting with confidence. These are some of the few ways which helps me painting with confidence. You can take this tutorial as a tool and you can implement it in your painting, see if it works, and you can come up with your own way of painting with confidence too. So take my drawing template and reference, and let's see what you can come up with. Thanks again for watching this Painting with Confidence in Watercolors video tutorial with me. Let me know what you guys think about this video tutorial in the comment section. If you want me to cover any of the subjects in watercolors, write me at watercolorimpressions@gmail.com or comment below. Before you go, hit the subscribe button so you guys can get weekly video updates from our channel. And please do share with your friends and family. And good luck with your painting, folks.